Beach fishing is such an amazing pastime. I absolutely love it. Hi, I'm Roger Osborne. Welcome to another session. Tonight I'm down at a beach that I was here 2 weeks ago on another video, and I was fishing at high tide right on dark. Well, tonight it's the absolute opposite. And I'm fishing for Mulloway again. I've got some beautiful live mullet, I've got some fresh squid, and I'm going to grab a couple of worms while I'm here as well. So I'm going to chuck out 3 lines. I'm going to have worms, squid and mullet. Make sure you hit that notification bell. If you're enjoying these videos, make sure you like and subscribe. And I'm going to head down now and show you what I'm going to be doing. I'm sure you can see the structure that I've got behind me. I've chosen this spot because it's actually got quite a nice channel, pretty close to shore here. And you can see the sandbar behind it where the waves are breaking. It's actually really shallow. It's probably only about 1 foot deep out there. But I really like that. I like how the waves are hitting that sandbar, washing over the edge into this deep channel. So I'll be here for the bottom of the tide and just going to fish after dark for a little while on the first of the run in and put my different baits out here. So what I'm going to do first is actually grab a couple of pilchards. I'm pretty sure there'll be some worms here, so I want to grab a couple of worms just quickly, and then I'm going to chuck my other lines out. Okay, here's Peter Pilchard. Grab a couple of pillies, maybe about 3. I would like to get a few worms, just to sort of add to the smorgasbord of baits. But they're going to go out there. Now there's a worm here, the only thing is it's a little bit low down, so I've got to wait for a little break in the waves. Looks like I might get a break after this wave. Otherwise I'd actually focus on catching worms up a little bit higher. So I'm not going to get a lot of time, just got to wait until this wave gets back. Come on, where is this worm? Oh, he's biting onto that nice pilchard there. Gotcha! Yoo-hoo! He's not massive, but that'll be a nice bait. So now I'll see if I can find a couple of other worms up here. I normally have my bait in a stocking so I don't have to bend over like this, but it really doesn't matter. Whoa, there's a worm right there. This one's up a lot higher. Now I've got to wait for the waves. And I can see a couple more worms down there as well. Hopefully this wave, come on, come on, come on, come on. I just need a little bit of water, just enough to, yeah, he's coming up. There he is. There he is, he's come up, he's hot. I can hear a wave coming. Right. Beautiful. Okay. There's a few worms down there. I'll just catch 3 or 4, or maybe 5 or 6, and then when I'm worming, I'm always listening for the waves. Because if a wave's going to come, like I'm not going to get much time now actually, I'm always listening. It's awesome. I love using all my senses. It's kind of like, all right, so here's this guy. He's not that big either. Another small worm. Oh man, that's really short. That's a midget. That one was a bit small. There's actually a lot of worms here, heaps. I think this wave is going to get me. I don't think I'm going to, I don't know. Oh, the wave's coming, but anyway, it's all good. These are not huge worms, but they're a good size for whiting. Is this wave going to get me? Yep, it's going to get me. Well, sort of. Can you see him there? Well, that's 5. One more. There's 3 worms here, 1 there, 2, 3. I keep looking for the biggest one. But they're all pretty much the same. You can see there's a worm there and there's a worm there. All right, okay, I think I have a chance now. See, he's pretty small really. Look, see, he's only a little guy. In fact, I'll let him go. Too small. If you can bury quick enough, he'll survive. Otherwise, the fish will eat him. Okay. Do I have a moment? I do. Well, this one's a little bit bigger. Just a little bit bigger, this guy. Gotcha. All right, that'll do. I often do this if I'm fishing low tide. I don't bother going worming during the day, because if I have a few pilchards on hand, I know I can just grab a couple in my hand, wave it around and just quickly grab a few worms if I want to use some. I'm going to munch these guys up. It's a bit of burley. Going to crush these pilchards up, let all the juices and the blood and everything wash out there. When I look out at that gutter, on the left hand side out there I can see quite a dark patch. My thinking is it's probably weed. It could be a school of salmon or something like that, which is what happened on this same beach a few weeks ago. It's not going to be where I'm casting my line, so, and there's one little piece of weed just in the edge of the water there. So first of all, I'm going to chuck a live mullet out. It's now 7:45. Low tide, I think, is 8:20. Now I've got 2 hooks on here, but I don't need them because the mullet I've got are relatively small. You'll see when I grab it. I don't need this keeper hook. Put it in my pocket for a second and just tie this single hook on. And I may actually go around through the hook twice on this occasion. So I go through the eye twice. It's a bit awkward because the weight of that sinker dangling is a little bit fiddly. So I'm just going to pull that through like that and go 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's a bit slippery. I've got pilchard oil on my fingers. Oh. 5. It's going to hold that. It's going to wet this and put it back through the 2 holes. It's a bit hard for you to see that, but put the tag back through the 2 holes, and then I'm going to grab it, pull it back through there, get it with my teeth. It's all right. Yeah, that's good. Just bite a little bit of that line off. Okay, now we'll whack a mullet on. I caught these mullet. Oh well, my hand's going to get wet. My sleeve anyway. See, that mullet's not massive, but that's as big as they were. I went down to the local harbour. Oh, there's heaps. I'm just going to pin him through there, like that. There's a few fish that would like this. Salmon, tailor, mulloway, if there's mulloway there. Big flathead would like it. So I'm going to just ping it out towards, into the middle of this nice green water. And hopefully avoid that weed, if that's what that dark patch is. Okay. Yeah, that's about where I want to be. Well, that'll do. It's pretty good. So I'm going to leave him here as a set line. I'm not going to hold on to it. There is a little bit of current I can see going from the right to the left. So he may, because there'll be a bit of drag and resistance being a larger bait, he may get dragged along a little bit. It'll be interesting to see. If there's anything patrolling that gutter there. Okay, next one. Actually, I'm just going to lie this down here. I only brought 2 rod holders with me, but that's okay. I had a little bit of stuff to carry. It's just getting a bit bulky. This is some squid that I caught recently. I enjoy catching squid and I love eating squid. I usually eat the body of the squid, and then I save the head and the wings or the flaps of the squid for bait. So you can see here, I've got 1 squid head, and there are a couple of the side flaps off. Actually, well, they're the side flaps off 2 squid. So I think what I might do is a bit pinky in colour. What will I do, squid head or side flaps? The head can be difficult to put on sometimes, not impossible. I might start off with a side flap. What am I going to do? I'm just going to cut that. It's about big enough, I think. All right, we'll give that a go. It's kind of like that, and then my little half hitch around the top. To hold that. Okay, cool. I'll put him out. There's a few blue bottles down here on the beach. Not as many as the other day. So I'm going to cast it right towards that sandbank out the back. See if I can get it over the edge of the drop off. Yep. I almost landed on the sandbar and just off the edge of it. Okay. Just going to make sure that the drag's not too light, not too heavy. Whack him in there. It's a pretty good spot where it landed. Now it's time to whack those worms on. Just putting a bit of sand on the worms, it'll make it easier to hold them, to make it easier to put them on the hook. So now, I have a 2-hook rig on this rod. Which way does that go? How is that turning up like that? The light here is a little bit dim, but I'm always very patient when it comes to untangling things. I've learnt that it's good to be patient, and usually you win the battle when you're patient. Okay. Nice fresh bit of worm. I'm not shivering. Just have to get it in there. That's it. This is a fairly large long shank hook. And so this small worm, it's okay. I'll just go like that, and I'll use the other part of the worm to put on the top hook once I unhook it off my bag. This is the end part of the worm, so it's a little bit thinner. I'm trying to keep the hook in the middle of the worm, which I've been successful at doing. So there you go, that's what that looks like. Alrighty, now I can actually hold on to this line and have a fish and just keep my eye on the other ones. Alrighty, so it's probably about half an hour until dark. Because I've got those two lines out there, I'm going to cast a little bit to the right, keep away from the other lines. Okay. Sort of in the middle of the gutter there. Could have potentially cast it out a little bit further. The conditions down here aren't perfect tonight, but the water looks reasonable. So you can see I'm the only person on the beach. If it was warm and balmy and a lovely summer's night, you'd probably have a lot more people down here. Okay, so I just got a bite then, I've got a fish on. I think I can tell, it feels like a salmon. And I saw one of my other rods getting a bite as well. Okay, yeah. You can see it leaping out of the water. Oh, they fight hard, these things. See if this wave can bring him in with the wave. No, not quite. It's not ready yet. It's not ready to come in. This is the light outfit that I was using in the last video. So if I had heavier gear, I could get it in easier, but not on this light out, not with this light outfit. Okay, here we go. It's quite a big fat fish, actually. Wow, look at that. It's actually, it's actually got, look, something's attacked it. What's going on there? I'm not sure what's happened to this fish. It's got a big hole, something that's bitten a hole in it. I mean, it's obviously pretty healthy, and hungry, but look at that. That's actually quite a fresh cut. There's fresh blood there. I'm going to let this guy go because I don't really need any salmon at the moment. So I'm going to let him go and hopefully he survives. Well, he'll live to, yeah, I mean, that's unusual to see that, how he'd been attacked like that. Well, I'm just going to put a bit more worm on and chuck this back out again. And I'll have to check my other line because I could see it getting bites. I had a bite before that was not a salmon bite. Just going to put this in here. It'll probably get hammered. I'll check this other line. I saw this rod getting bites before. It had the squid on it. It might not have much bait left. Oh no, the bait hasn't been touched actually. The bait looks pretty much exactly the way it was. Hasn't been touched. So I might actually swap this over and put on some squid head, some squid tentacle. I'll give that a go instead, I think. Get that long candle. I think I'll cut that off. Where's my hook? Okay. Alrighty. It's always a bit of a challenge putting stuff like this on, where you've got all these legs, etc. So I'm just going to put this hook, and you want to keep the barb exposed, so that's one of the other challenges as well. So let that other little hook go down there. What I might do is, I'll go through again. Pin it through one of his legs. So that barb is sticking out there, that's pretty good. Then I might just hook this guy through the top, just hold it there. So there's a barb exposed up there and there's a barb exposed down there, so that should catch onto a fish. Alrighty. Head back down, I haven't been looking at my other line. Okay, the rod's got a little bit of a bend on it. What's going on? Alright, so it's heading to the left a fair bit actually. Alrighty. Well, it's a nice time of the night for a fish. Whoa. Pretty happy with that positioning. Just off the edge of the sandbar into the deep water. Ah, there's a fish on that rod. There's a fish on there. Yep. Probably Sammy salmon. Well, there was a fish on there anyway, not now. Oh, hang on. Can't quite tell if I've got... Yeah, I've got a fish of some kind. Where is he? I think it's a small salmon. Actually, it got off. There you go. I don't mind that. I'm pretty sure it was a small salmon. It wasn't a brim or a whiting, I could tell that much. Now I only caught 5 worms. I've used probably 2 worms at this point in time. A little bit more on this top hook. Oh, that light is a blessing. It enables me to through the eye of the needle. Okay, so I'll just chop a little bit of that off and jump out again. Going to head up this way away from the other lines. I quite often catch a lot of brim on the worms, but haven't seen any of them yet. Okay, so far the record is I've caught a large salmon that was injured, which I let go, and I had another smaller salmon on that got off just in the wash before. I did have another bite that felt like a whiting. Haven't really had a decent hit on the squid or the mullet yet. So I'm going to fish this worm bait, and then I think I'll check that live mullet, because my first mullet, when I wound my line and the mullet was gone, so I'm not quite sure what happened to that mullet. Whether something attacked it and didn't hook up, or what happened. Now it's pretty much right on low tide right now. I think this line's just got a big chunk of weed on it. Yep. Okay, I will wind this in and take the weed off and rebait. Weed fish. So this was the squid getting a bit of a bite. Just going to hold on to it. There's a fair bit of current out there. Even though the waves are not huge, there's still a fair bit of sweep. It looked like it was getting a bite. That rod's got a fish on it now. Yep. Well, I did have one anyway. It was bent over. Yep, it's got a fish. Yeah, there's something there. I can feel it. We all know what this is. Seems to be the staple diet at the moment. Got a little bit of weed on my line as well. Yeah, a fair bit of weed hanging on there. Need to get that off somehow. Oh, it's coming down my line. Okay. What have we got here? That's a nice fish. But he's going to go back. Just take that worm hook out. And we'll let him go. Oops, a bit lively. Well, I'm going to check my live bait now before I throw this back out again. On the squid, I think it might have gone towards my other line. But something's taken this squid. I'm not sure what it is. It doesn't feel all that exciting. Could be like one of those creatures of the deep. Feels a bit Port Jackson sharkish. You sometimes catch them on the beach, even though they tend to hang around the rocks a lot more. Okay, what have I got? Exactly what I thought. Mr. Jackson. How's that? I'm nowhere near rocks really. I'm nowhere near the rocks, but you still get things like this. They have very tough mouths. So I want to try and get the hook out without hurting him. And they actually have a spike on them. Just going to put my headlight on. Can you see there's actually a spike just above his fin here. There's a spike right there. See that? You don't really want to get that spike. Actually, look, there's another one up here. So they actually do have some spikes on them, these guys. They're not difficult to handle. I'm going to pull him up a little bit out of the water. Ah, they love squid. Okay, so that's my main hook there, and the keeper hook is quite deep down his throat. There's no way I'm going to get that out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bite this. So I've just bitten that hook off, and I can pull my line out like that. And he's just got that little hook in him. So he'll be fine. That won't hurt him. It's just a little hook and it'll soon rust, etc. So just turn my light off and saved my main hook. I'm going to let this guy go. Wait for this next little wave. There you go, mate. Have fun. Yoo-hoo! He needs some deeper. Maybe I have to put him out a bit deeper. Yeah, no problem. Oh. So he'll just get bigger, that guy, and probably annoy another fisherman. We good?
Yep.
Beach fishing, like all fishing, is all about the conditions. I've decided I'm going to pull the plug. I've been fishing for about an hour and 15 minutes, but there's actually, what I could see earlier, that dark patch that was further out was in fact weed that has moved in closer. And pretty much every cast I'm getting weed. When I throw my live bait out there, it's getting weed on it and getting sucked to the left. I've had a bit of fun with the worms catching salmon and got a Port Jackson shark on the squid, but you've got to know when to keep fighting or not, and I think that there's not a lot of point to stay down here right now, so I'm going to pull the plug and head home. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. I should be hopefully having a fish later this week, and I'll be putting it up again on YouTube. So I'll see you then. Make sure that you like and subscribe, and see you really soon.